The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances.
Are we live? What's good, great people? I am Ezel Moon, and I have a special guest in the building today. Joining me is the founder of the Black Man Can, Dr. Brandon Frame. He's not just the founder of that, but my man is also a Morehouse graduate, Connecticut's own, as well as a fan of a team that has been waiting to go to the Super Bowl since 1996. Dr. Brandon Frame, everybody.
Greetings, happy Wednesday. So excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to be able to be a guest on your show. I'm grateful and appreciative.
Hey man, it's an absolute honor to have you here on my platform. Just to be able to sit with you means a lot to me. I know you're busy, not only just publicizing the good inside of our community and making sure we have a space for us to be able to see the good, but you are a man of many talents and many hats. I know you're also a speaker. How has okay? Can I be real with you for 2 seconds?
Sure, yeah, it's just show. I'm just here. It's a frank conversation, right? So I'm just here. I'm just here. I don't know where you want to go. What's the format that you're working with? I am just here because I'm honored that you asked me to be here. So I'm down for whatever way we go.
Bet that. Okay, cool. So my first thing is this: do you still got those season tickets to the Cowboys?
I do. I'm a season ticket holder. I think this is year 11 or 12. I think. Yeah, I think so. I got them like the stadium I didn't get them like right when the stadium opened, but I don't know. It was like 2013, 2014, I think. I got the season tickets, and so I've had them, since.
So I'm about to tell you, all right, so not too many people know this, right? So back when the stadium first opened, I actually went to the University of Texas at Arlington, right? So the stadium was actually open in Arlington. I used to actually work at that stadium. Like I used to actually I worked security. And then I was also one of those people with the yellow jackets doing the events and stuff. So yeah, man, I used to actually be in that stadium quite a bit, a lot actually. But yeah, man, it was a bit. So to know that you had your tickets, man. I've been meaning to bother you about this for a hot second. And I can't talk too loud because I am from Houston, so I've been waiting on my Texans to make it to the Super Bowl since. But that's neither here nor there, man. That's neither here nor there. Hey, congratulations on 15 years of the Black Man Can. Want to start off with that?
Thank you.
Talk to me about being able to hold that space for so long.
The Black Man Can, a quote that I live by is, once you make an observation, you have an obligation. I made an observation that Black men and boys need to see positive images of themselves and have their stories told. So I had an obligation to create it. 15 years ago, I started a blog, and it's grown into this phenomenal, powerful, meaningful organization. And I just enjoy the opportunity to do that. Like, the Instagram, which a lot of people interact with and see. I do that. I post everything. There's no team there. That's me. Every post that's ever been posted on the Black Man Can is me. This is just what I think people need to see. about images of Black men and boys, and then to have programming in schools and summer camps and work in juvenile facilities with young men. We're just doing the work that needs to be done in our communities.
It's amazing that you are, and I love the fact that it's really in alignment with so much of the work that I do in my regular day-to-day life. And you actually have a quote that speaking towards your prior quote that you mentioned. For boys, our social emotional development is not prioritized. And honestly speaking, I've watched how in day-to-day life for kids that look like us, they are they're not rising to the occasion when it takes really emotional development. When to be able to push past certain situations. How do you feel society impact? How do you feel society's impact on the Black child's social emotional development is going to be impacted moving forward?
I think it's very important that we, as a community, as society, prioritize the social emotional development of all people, right? And then especially our boys, and then in particular our Black boys, because me and you, we're sitting right here having this conversation, not necessarily because we learned the Pythagorean theorem, which is important for a moment in time in school, but because we have worked on our social emotional skills, and it has allowed us to navigate the complexity of the world that we live in. And so coupled with that, and that's just like general survival. When we start really digging in, so we were having a conversation today with one of our programs at one of the schools, and the Black Man Can, we sell affirmation cards, so all the boys get the affirmation cards as well. And one boy, and for this one, it's like, you pick a card that you want to bring for today, that you want to talk about. And he said, he picked the card that said, I recognize and embrace all the things that make me human. Right. And so that's why he picked it. And he was like, because it's about me trying to be myself and everything. And then sometimes you got to take the lead to break the ice on something. Right. So I said, that card really resonates for me, because even as a grown man, there's times, there's moments, there's things that happen where I'm having human emotions, but society has told me that I'm not supposed to express those human emotions. And so I want to embrace all the things that make me human, even in a space that sometimes is not allowed for me to embrace human reactions. It has nothing to do with me being male or female. At this moment, I need to cry. I'm sad. I'm upset. Right. And those are human emotions. And so I think when we take time to develop our young men to embrace that, and then also develop the language to communicate what it is that they are experiencing, we allow for them to be able to flourish when they become, as they are boys growing into adults, when they have business relationships, romantic relationships, and to speak to family and friends.
This actually kind of leads me into one of the questions that I really took time to craft for you. What does it mean at its deepest level for a Black man to define himself, especially in a society that often imposes identities from the outside? And can self-definition ever be fully separated from social context?
It's very important. It's actually in our it's the title of the journal I made back in 2013. It's in our Building a Better Brother Creed. Building a Better Brother is the name of the programming that we do, which is define yourself so you can redefine the world. And so it's very important for you to take a look of all the things around, and things that you like to do, the things that you're good at, and define who you are. And then you go out and redefine the world so that you are not stuck into the box that you can be placed into just as a black man in society.
Makes sense. Makes sense to me. Um, as a Morehouse man, shout out to all my HBCUs. How should one navigate the tension between striving for success, career status, recognition, and remaining rooted in values of humility, service, and authenticity?
I mean, I think it's just important to be confident and walk with your head held high. And I don't know, I think for me, I can really only have to think about just how I think about it. Like, what's my why? My why is to improve, empower, uplift the lives of black men and boys. If some accolades come with that, if some opportunities to be on people's shows come with that, that's cool, but that's not the why. That probably is just a sign that I'm executing my why very well. And so those things are just really, they're like cool. They're cool things. And what I look at them as, you having me on the show is just a reminder to continue to do the work, right? That's what it is. It's just a reminder. It's like, hey, like today we had 2 programs at schools, and I was with boys today, right? Like that's what it is. I wake up tomorrow, we got Friday, we got programs. Then, I'm on a flight to our programs out in California. Then, I'm back to here to Connecticut for programs there, and talking somewhere else to expand the programs. And that's just what it's about, man. Like, I get excited about it, man, because you work in the school. So, like, for the most part, like, I think you say you're what? You say you're like 35?
Man, I'm 35 now, so yeah.
Yeah, so 35. So, like, if we both go back like 20 years, like, you might have did a boys program, like, like maybe depending on where you were outside. And I'm talking about outside of sports. Like, you had camaraderie, through sports and a brotherhood. Like, there was that aspect of what you might put in a boys program now. And if you had the right basketball coach or football coach, they created conditions for like what we use now as the basis of some of our programming and stuff like that. But overall, overwhelmingly, we didn't have like lots of programming. And maybe when you went to the Boys and Girls Club or stuff like that, but it wasn't like just for you. This was made specifically for black boys so that you could be great, right? And so that's just the why. Like, everything is meticulously designed just to see more young men be better than me, right? Part of our programming is, and the why is, if it took me 20 steps, it's got to take them 10.
Right.
So I'm giving you everything that I got so that it takes you 10 steps to get to the same place, if not farther along.
Talk to me about when your why becomes hard. Like, for me, I've been in the education space since I was 24, right? I taught many kids. Oddly enough, funny enough, the Pythagorean theorem. Yep, I taught math. But I also, I started different spaces for the kids, just to be able to speak their truth, whether it be gaming, anime, or just kids, just gathering the kids that look like me so they could have a safe space in my classroom just to talk and vent their frustrations. I used to buy these kids, I'm not even used to, I still do it, buy these kids Ubers to get to school, put clothes on their back, put food inside their bellies, money in their pockets to be able, just to be able to make it, not just for them, but for their families as well. So for me, I recognize that my why became hard when when I saw kids who, I'm pouring into. You've seen it before when the light switch turns on in a child, and oh, okay, I get it. And they use the knowledge that you have, and they start making those necessary changes. But I'm sure that you've seen also when you're still pouring, but it seems like there's a hole inside the cup. and or there's such a drawing towards the environments that they come from, the situations that they come from, that there's like an addiction there that they don't want to let go of. For me, that was when that's when my why becomes hard. And although yes, I will still continue to pour, I will still continue to try, I will still continue to uplift because that's who I am as a person. Um, I can say that hey, that portion is difficult. But where is the difficulty for you?
I don't, you know what? To be honest, I think I might have I might be at a place where I know that I'm not gonna help everybody. Like
Mm,
people are human beings, and human beings have a will and right to choose and do different things. So like, so like here's a story, right? So for few, I used to be a school administrator, and one of the programs we created was called the Global Business Excursion. I worked at this school called High School Inc. under the leadership of Dr. Terrell Hill, who's still a mentor of mine, and I'm grateful he's in my life. And so we do this global business excursion. So the global business excursion is a super dope trip, which we actually take kids out of the country and we take them to Europe and they get to see all the little tourist sites and stuff like that. But then they also, then we also go visit, we do job shadow experiences in London. So you get to go visit different companies and stuff like that. Right. And so, this was, now we're talking about this is, I'm not at that position anymore. And so years later, I've run into a student who since then has done some time, incarcerated and whatnot. And he saw me, he's like, yo, Mr. Frame, like, I understand now. He's talking, this is a grown man now, right? He's like, I understand everything you was talking about and the experiences and what you was trying to provide for us, and he said it didn't hit him till he was incarcerated, because then he said, I told people about my high school experience, like, yo, I had an internship at a company and I traveled abroad and, da da da. And then they were like, so how'd you end up here?
mm,
That's just, is one of those things. So like, it's, you don't, but you continue to pour like that. I treated that child no different than the valedictorian, right?
right.
Some people are ultimately going to make their own decisions. And when you talk about that light bulb moment, it literally just comes on at different times.
Mm,
For some people, it's going to be right there and you see it. And then another one is going to be, 10, 12 years down the line, you run into a student that you randomly walking down the street and they like, yo, and the light, it came on, you didn't see it. But that's why you just pour regardless. And you let the chips fall where they may.
I want to get into a real serious topic here. Kind of heavy. What are your top 5 albums of the year?
Oh, that's that's such a great question, and I wish that I was more tapped in to be able to answer that question. I do think the Clips album was great, but I don't even follow, like, I think I'd be so into what I'm working on and what we're
Mm,
building that I'm not as tapped in, like,
mm,
of music. So I don't know songs, and I listen to a lot of soca and dancehall, reggae,
that's
and so in some of those artists did, like Popcan. He had an album, like, so people have come out with stuff, but like I'm not even on the, like, I couldn't
the
tell you
newest
what
the,
the
the newest
newest
one.
things. I know
Yeah.
the hits, and then, or I might know an artist that I really like, and so I'll be like, oh, Burna Boy came out with an album, but I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if I'm gonna say it's a top 5, but it's got some songs in there I like. So I wish I could be a better guest on that answer, but I feel like I'm not the hip hop and music aficionado on music that has come out this year, album wise.
Hey man, it's totally fine with me. I myself would be lying if I said that I stuck to any one genre Especially since I'm Nigerian and I grew up in a household where we just listen to everything, all right? Especially, on cassettes. So I love just listening and tapping into anything and everything. So if you do have some good pop can songs to send me after the interview, I will take them and I will listen to them.
Gotcha.
You once said, if you ask for money, you get advice. And if you ask for advice, you get money.
Yo, you really actually like went and did some like research on me. Like that what you're saying is I will get into it, but I'm like, yo, you really actually like went and like
I have to, man. I want to go. I believe in the being like just different. Because I really do care, right? And I do want the audience to be able to learn through your experiences and knowledge. Anything in which you have to give. Let us all be sponges and actually, soak it up and take it and move forward. That's my goal. I love, and plus also that quote is fire. That is a fire quote. So, but yeah, I actually, bless you. I actually wanted to get from you, what experiences in your life did you have that brought you to that conclusion?
So in the start of 2024, January 2024, I went full-time entrepreneur,
Right.
and doing the Black Man Can full-time from 2010 to, roughly almost toward the fourth quarter of 2023. I always had a job and did the Black Man Can at the same time. I ultimately decided to make a shift, use the fourth quarter of 2023 to strategize.
That was when you left consulting?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And went full on entrepreneur. And the Black Man Can is a nonprofit. And so then you're like, part of it is like you're trying to get funding from different foundations. You're talking to different people who can help or support or connect you. And that's when I realized early on in conversations that if I ask for money, people are going to give me advice on how to get it or what to do. But if I ask people for advice on a thing or I'm trying to do something, and then it could lead to, how much does it cost, right? But I didn't ask for money. I was asking for advice. And then they're like, I can help with that because you're asking for advice to somebody who they also might be able to give you money, but you're really going for their advice because you might want to be able to connect it to their Rolodex, or, they are somebody who can fund what you're doing and it's probably of interest to them. But like, there are also people who are like thinkers and creatives. And so when you ask them like, hey, I'm trying to do this thing, tell me more. And then they're like feeding you with advice and stuff. And then it can lead to being people funding you because they started with advice as opposed to just start, hey, I'm trying to do this thing. I need $50K to do the thing. And it's like, well, what I think you should do to get the $50K is da, 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 da. And it's like,
all right. Bet.
So yeah, that's
Makes sense to me. Really, really quickly, we want to take a quick commercial break. Got to pay these bills, and we'll be right back after these messages with more of Dr. Brandon Frame.
all righty.
Commercial.
WSAN Radio, the soul of America and beyond. Join DJ Ron G and the WSAN crew every day for the Ron G Morning Show, Funk Friday, and Gospel Brunch Sunday. From local heroes to national guests, WSAN Radio connects you to the pulse of our community. One song, one story, one soul at a time. WSAN Radio, where music, motivation, and movement come together. Streaming live, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and WSANradio.com.
Got me together with this two-piece. It's the good leggings, no see-through business.
And we are back with our guest, Dr. Brandon Frame. How you feeling so far?
Feeling good, feeling good.
That's a blessing, man. That's a blessing. I want to get into, just a little bit further in down the path in regards to you. Growing up, we all get our values from somewhere. Where do you feel like you've gotten your moral compass from?
My mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather. I think those three individuals helped shape the man I am today. In terms of morals and the moral compass. And then I think later on, I went to Catholic school, but I probably got more into faith as I reached in college. But I did have I went to Catholic school. I used to go to a Black Catholic youth retreat every summer through high school. So definitely had these moments of also with God and the idea of different lessons and morals that come from different stories in the Bible, as well as my mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather.
Oddly enough, I grew up Catholic. Funny enough, so it is very, were you you just went to like Catholic school? Did you remain Catholic afterwards, or did you go?
Yeah, I did. So I went to Catholic school, and then I used to go to, my grandmother would take me to a Black Catholic church, and I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, St. Michael's. So I would go there, and then I also did confirmation.
Confirmation, yeah.
The confirmation while I was in when I was in high school and stuff. So, did those. Did all of that for sure. And then going down south and probably becoming more non-denominational after going to college and experiencing different types of churches, from Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, Baptist, AME, CME,
Right.
All the different breakdowns that we have across Christianity.
Yeah, literally. It's interesting, man, because it's like, I see the same passage, right, interpreted in so many different ways. From just so many different passages. The same pastor can give you the same passage, and it'll be he'll pull something different on one Sunday. It'll be Sunday the 17th, and he'll be like, oh, okay, Psalms 133, it's about friendship, and then the following Sunday, oh, that same Psalms is actually about family. The same next, it's really interesting to me, But I've always had this belief that, hey, as long as we all find our way to to peace and to being a better person, for not just for ourselves but for our community, it's a blessing to have. It's a blessing to have. I wanted, speaking of which, I actually did have that's so funny. I'm sorry. I was really taken aback by the fact that you also got confirmed in high school as well. That we had, so for us we had 2 years. Like you had to go one year for the first one, and then the second year for the second one, and then you could actually officially be confirmed. So it was wild. Um, where is the best food in Connecticut right now?
That's a good question. There's a few spots that I really like. One, I think when you hit New Haven, there's several pizza places that you need to check out. It's actually been voted best pizza in the United States of America in New Haven, Connecticut. So I think you should definitely check out. There's a few different restaurants there. If you go to Hartford, one of my favorite restaurants is the Russell. It's a Caribbean restaurant. Another one is called Salute. It's in downtown Hartford as well. It's an Italian restaurant. Yeah, and there's some other ones too, but those are ones like when I go home, I'm like, man, I gotta get to. And then it was interestingly enough, this is gonna sound really bad, but it's what it is. So I live in New York City, and so when you live in New York City, most of the restaurants you go to are like actual they own that one restaurant, or maybe they're a part of the person owns multiple restaurants, but they're all different types of restaurants. But you don't really change like that. Like I had this affinity for Cheesecake Factory, so usually when I go home, I go to Cheesecake Factory because I can't. There's no Cheesecake Factory in like Manhattan or the Bronx, or I think there's one in Queens. But I really like Cheesecake Factory. Chicken Madeira is a really, really, really delicious meal to me. So I like the bread, and I like the strawberry lemonade. So like Connecticut, or sometimes even other places, I'm like, I want to go to the Cheesecake Factory because I don't get a chance to go to the Cheesecake Factory.
Man, look, I'm with it. I don't know where it became, oh, we can't go to Cheesecake Factory no more. I think Drake may have said something about it or something. I don't know who said something about it, but I definitely I'm for it because I feel you on that strawberry lemonade. And honestly, if you throw some sweet tea in it, that it's called a strawberry on a Palmer. I'm just,
I'm gonna try that.
That's my contribution.
I'm gonna try that next time I go.
So it. All right. This is going to be a terrible transition into this question, but I definitely want to ask about this. So, what is the ethical responsibility of a leader, especially one who speaks for or represents a community? And how can such a leader avoid unintentionally reinforcing stereotypes or limiting the diversity within that community?
I think it's very important to make sure you always have diverse perspectives around you, right? Like, I think from when I was leading a team to leading the Black Man Can, I have people around me to see my blind spots because I got them. We all got them across multiple different spectrums. So I'm always like running stuff by people, or if I have a thought around a particular decision, and I'm like, let me sanity check this, right? I think you have to really take time to listen to people around you, read the room, what's going on around you, and really ask clarifying questions on things that you don't know. I used to lead a team, and I had 28 people, including myself. Like 23 of them were women on my team. And so I had to do a lot to ensure that I made sure that I met all of their needs, right? And like there was just things that there's decisions that I could have made that would have oppressed the women on the team in various ways, even unbeknownst to me, right? But I'm taking the time to learn and understand and see and evaluate, and so then I can lead in a way that makes sure that everybody feels really great and is excited about coming to work. It doesn't mean conflict is not going to happen and things you have to troubleshoot through. That's just a part of running a business or doing anything. Everybody's not going to agree, but people can also understand why you made the decision that you made, because sometimes every decision is not going to be for everybody's going to be happy with it, right? Sometimes some decisions are made just for a group of people and it's not for another group of people. And so you have to be able to explain and articulate, why this is important, why we're doing it. So I take a big intentional approach to making sure that I'm hearing and listening to everyone and getting multiple perspectives so that I make the best decision.
You know, with all that you do, you know, especially when it comes to you leading having led a team at large, you know, I wonder nowadays, how do you show yourself that you value yourself?
Hmm. I think that's an ongoing conversation. I think one thing that I think is very important is I've worked a lot on one thinking about how we use language for certain things. So a lot of times I think when I think about your question, another way people might phrase that question is like, how do you do self-care? Right.
Right.
And I think for men, it's a very challenging concept. So I've used different language though. And I say, we were like, Ezel, how do you self-maintain? Right.
Mm.
Because every man can understand maintain a house, maintain their relationship, maintain a car, whatever it is, right? And it's like, so then how do you do that for you? And it's like, oh, well, how I self-maintain is I go to the barbershop, at least once a week or every 10 days or something like that. I get the hot towel, the whole nine, when I go to the barbershop. I do put the stuff on my skin be feeling good, all that. So that's how I self-maintain. Every once a quarter, I go get a massage. That's how I self-maintain, right? So just the idea. So to answer your question, those are some things I do when I identify it through the idea of self-maintaining. These are the things that I do to maintain myself so that I can show up to be my best self in all the different spaces that I need to show up in.
So you do those things with the hot towel and the open pores and everything like that as far as.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what good.
You got to. It's like I think, when I go to the barbershop, it's like a smooth 30, 40 minutes. You know what I mean? That's just I get to relax, you get to lean back a little bit, close your eyes for a hot second, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of turn your brain off. I swim usually once or twice a week. So even when I'm swimming, I'm able to just I'm just focused on getting my laps done. And sometimes my brain is thinking about stuff, but also I'm just kind of locked in on getting my laps. And then I go sit in the jacuzzi and, relax for 20 minutes or so. And then I shower and, now I'm getting back to it. Right. But I took that time, that 40 minutes, 50 minutes to just be a little bit in a different place, and I think that's so important and needed as you're pursuing excellence with impeccable effort.
So I want to say that I'm definitely going to carry that lesson that you actually slipped that you gave me in there as well, as far as phrasing of the question and how do you self-maintain. That is way better. I just always wonder, as far as I always aligned, I always aligned that, with just showing yourself, oh, hey, this is how I value me. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely gonna carry that forward, and I appreciate that. I want to get to the goal of the show, which is philanthropy, garner support from the audience and putting it towards a charity or nonprofit that you care about. What charity or nonprofit would you like to spotlight today, and why is the cause of the face is so important to you?
Obviously, I would love for people to donate to the Black Man Can, because I think that's important. But I mean, I could name so many different organizations. One thing that is the beautiful, there's so many different reasons that I could give that have just make me smile about what I've been able to do with the Black Man Can. And one of them is that I just get to know so many phenomenal Black men. I might know more Black men doing dope stuff than the average Black man, simply because I know people in your actual community, and then I can tell you about some brothers in Atlanta. I can tell you about Omaha, Nebraska, LA, Seattle, Washington, right? So I mean, really, I could go down a list of be like, oh, we should talk about Close Ties in Atlanta and the mentor program they got there. we should talk about For Care for moms and, you know, what they're doing around postpartum and for dads, or the Daddy Stroller Social Club in Dallas, Texas. And they got chapters all over the country with dads coming out with their kids in the strollers, or Champs Mentoring in Chicago, Mustafa's Pride in Dallas, in Houston, Texas, the Modern Day Man in New York City. Like, you see, I can just go. Right? I can just go. So for me, and these are all like brothers I've met, I've interacted with. You know, we're even talking about what I'm working on. One of my projects that I have is like, how do I get all the brothers that are doing stuff? Like, how do we do a invite only for the first year, like this invite only conference, right? Like I invite you, and I'm like, you can only give like 3 other brothers, and you're like, yo, 3 of the dopest brothers, you know, like they really. Like they really like, and they not on some ego stuff, right? That like 3 dope brothers who don't this, because we about to do a conference with 100 men, all leading. So everybody here, everybody coming, does dope shit. So there's nobody need to poke this out. Everybody's shit is dope. Everybody's shit is impactful, right? And like, yo, but we got to come together. And what does it look like to push what all we're doing forward in the name of just Black men, right? So like, I can tell you about a bunch of brothers that are doing teacher prep stuff, so trying to get more Black men to be teachers. We got brothers doing fatherhood stuff. We got brothers doing the mentoring. We got brothers doing cancer. We got brothers, you know what I mean? Like we are in all these spaces, and we should all know each other. I feel special because I know about all these brothers, but like, what would it look like to bring us all in a room for like 2 days, right? And we all can just like, figure out what the 2 days should look like, but all of us just come to build, just come to share. Like, yo, what's 3 challenges you've overcome that you could just give to the room? All right, so my fundraising challenge that I overcame is right? What's your social media challenge that you overcame so you grew your following, or you move merch, or what? Yo, we're trying to get sponsors for things. Yo, you brother, tell the brothers how you get sponsors.
How you get that? Yeah.
These 2 days is just free game. We're bringing brothers because everybody's so dope. Everybody's got free game to give. We're here to give free game. And you will leave this space with all the free game necessary to move your stuff forward. And you got it from other brothers that look like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I ain't gonna lie to you. I that would be, if I can help in any way, because I immediately just thought of 3 people that I was like, yo, you know what? My guy who's behind Melanin Con, he's literally doing that in the space out here in the DC. It's so many people that are dope brothers that I really believe that could lend a helping hand to that vision and make that happen. And if I can do anything to be able to be a part of that, to help, let me know. I'll lend whatever aid I can. I did want to. That's a really good idea, bro. For real. That's a really, really good idea.
And it's gonna be so powerful, because like in the room is gonna be like, oh, these brothers right here, these 5-6 brothers, they're all doing education, like making more Black male teachers. These brothers right here, everything they do is fatherhood. These brothers right here is doing music festivals. These brothers right here is doing mentoring in schools. These brothers right here is doing re-entry work, right? So like, because there's like this it's the ecosystem of Black men, right? And like all these spaces are important. It's important for somebody to be doing the work for brothers that got locked up and they coming home. It's important for brothers that are doing stuff to make sure there's more Black male teachers, there's more engineers, more, you know what I mean? Like all these things. And like, see, we all need to know each other, because we are the ecosystem. But like, if we all are operating in silos, then it doesn't work. It's not as effective. We are not as effective of ensuring that our communities are thriving if we're operating in silos. Our North Star is Black men, but we have different ways that we're trying to get there to elevate them. But if we know each other, it's just like when the housing and the education and the food and this don't speak to each other, and government agencies don't speak to each other, but they all are impacting the same person has to interact with all 5 agencies, but all 5 agencies don't speak to each other. What does it look like when we create the ecosystem amongst ourselves, because Black men are touching all of these spaces?
Absolutely. No, this is because I mean, even for me, right? If I'm someone that resides in DC, and I know someone that's coming home in Houston, you know, if I know someone that is amazing at, you know, doing reentry into society for Black men in Houston, it would be awesome for me to be able to contact this person. He's down there, make that connection. That way you can, you know, he'll help you get a job. He'll help you, you know, put you in the right spaces. That would be awesome. It would literally just help us create more positive spaces for Black men to grow. That's my thoughts on that.
Right, and with it, like, I mean, that's the last thing I'll say on this topic, and like, and with it is like, it's making sure like the full range of Black men are there, right? Because like, there's brothers who like, they look at brothers in the suits and they like, them brothers in the suits, and then there's brothers like, these brothers, like, if you try to do something in the community, right? They don't have suits, but like, everybody in that community know that person, right? You want to bring your program into, if that person say your program good, the whole block, okay, program's good. That means we can do it, certified, right? We all gotta.
Yeah. Facts. No, I guess gotta miss that, because you're right. You're absolutely right. And you are a wealth of legit knowledge, and I hope I did not waste this time. I legitimately feel like I gained through this interaction. I hope the audience definitely does, you know, is also satiated, sincerely speaking, but that idea, my brother, whatever I can do to help with that, please let me know. That is amazing.
Yeah,
that is amazing. Before, you know, we always like to close with words of wisdom for the next generation. You know, you have another amazing quote. You once said, "Say your price and shut up." What words of wisdom would you have for someone who doesn't know their price?
You'll know what you gotta do. You do have to say the price, and you will know from there if you undervalued yourself. So I think it's important, again, to you say the price, like, here's what my worth is, and then that goes, and then it starts to go up and down. Then I think there's different ways to evaluate worth, and it's for each unique person, right? Like, sometimes I get the opportunity to speak. People ask me to come to conferences or be a keynote, and so like, I give a price, right? My price, I base this off like this. Like, say I was an artist and a music festival, right? I've reached a point in where I'm at right now, what I've been able to do. I'm like the artist that comes on at, like, let's say the music festival started at 2 and it goes to midnight, right? That's kind of like how the music festivals are, right? I'm at a point, I'm probably going on at like 5 o'clock.
Nah, you can't say that.
I'm not at 2, because once you get to 8, that's you starting to get in the headliners. Like, you ever look at the flyer and the names start?
I was going. Yeah,
it's cool because you and here's what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the draw. Like, if you're talking about putting something on and people are paying to come and see. There's some people who will pay, but I'm not filling up the park. And you're right. But that's okay. But you keep growing, right? And I use to use an actual example. I went to the Afro Future Festival
Right.
And like 3 years ago, and Asake was at the festival performing. Now he headlines the festival. You see what I'm saying? Like, what he got paid is not yesterday's price.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that at some point I'm not going to be at 8 o'clock or the 10 o'clock performance. Right now, I'm not. So like my price is based off that, because like if you're paying for me, I might what you pay me, you might not actually get back in sales, but you do need to fill up the time with people, right? So, but you'll get some sales, but like your main sales came because you got Barack Obama. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just thinking that's what I mean. Like, right? Like everybody coming to see Barack, but here's the it's just like a fight, right? I'm here to see the one fight, but I watch the, you know what I mean? I might hear and see, you know, what goes before that, right? And so I think that's just another way to kind of evaluate. And but again, you can decide what that number is. Barack get $500,000 to show up. They're not paying me $500,000 to come talk right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I might be getting about $7,500 to come and talk. You know, because I'm the precursor to why everybody's there. But we gonna give you some dynamite people, and then when I kill it there, and then my price keeps going up. So I think there's just different ways to assess it, right? But still, nonetheless, you don't necessarily say the price, and then you're like, hey, I'm not gonna, or like once they say no, because they're like, oh, you're out of budget. I mean, guess what? That's not, you know, like I'm out of budget. Like, you know what I mean? I have elevated myself to, you know, another space, another realm, which is super cool, super dope. So I do think, you know, and then at the same time, sometimes too, like you say a price and they come back to you really fast with an answer because they was like, ooh, like because you never know what the budget is too, right? You might say 7,500 and then their budget was like 50. They like, oh, we get them for set. Listen, yes, absolutely. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes when it's too fast, you're like, dang, I should have said more. And then so next time you say more, that happens. And I remember I doing this one proposal for a company, and I don't mind sharing numbers, but I was like, man, this campaign, I'm sitting there, I'm like agonizing over it because I don't want the you over budget. So I'm trying to figure out like what number could I give that's like
right there.
I was on the phone with my homeboy because he was gonna do some of the video production for the stuff. So I'm like, and I know I gotta pay him. So I'm like talking to him like, all right, so I'm gonna say this number. So then this is what you're gonna get. This will, you know, woo. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, it's worth more than that, bro. Like we're worth more than that. Like, you know. And so I was going to write the proposal, $50K. Boom. I'm like, nah, it's worth more, man. Like, let's go 85, man. Like, it's not 100, but it's more than. And then hit him with that. 24 hours later, great, let's go. Let's move forward. I'm like, and the thing is that I was going to, so that lets me know if I had said 50, they would have,
What? Immediately throw it at them.
Right, you know what I mean. So I think that's a true story where I really pitched. I got a deck, a brief, and then said, okay, we're gonna go after this for like 50. Like 50 feels good. And the reason why I did 50 because the most I ever been paid to do a campaign was 40. So I'm thinking. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these things go into say your prices. Shut up. So even if I did say 50, we could have did it because I'm like, I'm already like, yo, I've never been paid this much to do anything.
Right.
So, right. So, and then we like get, and it's like, I said, you know what, man, it's not worth that, man. Like you need a little more. You got your team, you got to pay your peoples. Like, and then like, yo, we could do this. Like we them boys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so then boom, got it, you know. So.
Man, listen, you just spoke a word and a half to me, my brother. I appreciate that. I didn't even selfishly make up that question, but I am definitely about to use every bit of knowledge that you just dropped, and I really do. I appreciate that. Sincerely speaking. Yeah. I hope
I'm a free game dude, man. I don't think
you don't gatekeep.
you don't hoard, there's no need to hoard information. There's no need to gatekeep. It doesn't. It's just not me, right? Like I could sit, so like here, I since we talking free game, right? So like, I've told people these plays that I think, and because to me it's free game, anybody could do it. So so I wrote a children's book. I have a children's book. It's called My First Tie, and so it's like, when you first come out with your book, you do a lot of promo for it and everything, and then it kind of starts to die down, right? You start thinking maybe you should write another book or whatever, but like you really want to like consistently make revenue from the book, And so I started, putting my head together, like what could it look like? So what we created was the My First Tie experience, and so what it is like I get to come to the school. I read to the kids. I bring a book. I bring ties. I bring crayons and because it's elementary school kids. So I bring a cutouts of ties. So the kids get to create their own tie out of crayons. I read the book. I sign everybody's book. I teach everybody how to tie a tie and everything. It's really great. And it's always with third graders and second graders. It's a beautiful time. The schools love it. The kids love it. Parents love it. It just, sometimes I do it with parents and their dads. It's just great. Sometimes I bring men out, like come to DC, like, man, you want to come do the My First Tie experience with me, man? We're going to go read to the kids, and, you read to one kid, teach them how to tie a tie. Like, it's great. Like if I start my day, if you started one day a week like that with a second grader, you're like, man, this was great, man. Little boy was so happy and whatnot. So there's a financial piece to it as well. So what we try to do is 100 books. You get 100 books, 100 ties. I come in, I read, and that's $5,000. Right now, the object here is that you want to. If you do that 15 times, that's $75,000. If you do it 30 times, it's $150,000. If you do it 60 times, it is $300,000 gross revenue. It only costs if at 60 it costs you about $80,000 to do it. So then you netted $220K just reading books to kids, right? And it's a great. It's a great experience for the kids. It's a great. Everybody leaves super duper happy. And there's how many days in a year? 365 days. You worked 60 days. And you made 200. You don't really gotta do nothing else, right? You could do this from January for the first quarter. You could work the first quarter of the year. If you work hard and you go get the contracts, right, that's the first quarter of the year. You don't got to work the rest of the year. By the end of the first quarter, you made $220,000.
I'm not gonna lie to you. So you kind of ruined my surprise. So I wrote a children's book as well. You was actually one of my inspirations for writing the children's book down.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate that, man. Like, yo, that's love. And the thing, I didn't think about this when I wrote the book, and I wrote it with Deneen Eskridge out of Los Angeles. She's amazing. So I wrote the book, and then I was just like, yo, how can I just keep it something that, it just consistently can bring in money. So like, even if you're just on a small end, you're like, man, just 15 schools a year, you get 15 schools a year, $75,000 of money. Like, people, sometimes for some people, that's what they make in a year. Keep working. Right. They work you worked 15 days, and that's what some people make in 365 days in a year. Right. So there's just a lot of, and I just share these things, right? Because like say you go 60, let's say you want to get 120 days. Now you're talking about $600,000, in gross revenue. And people are like, man, you're doing well, man. And you got a, nice house and family and everything. What do you do? Like, cause that's what sometimes people get you aside and ask you those questions. Like, what do you do? I read books to kids.
Yeah.
Right. Think about it, right? Your life is going really well. I see you do a little travel. You got your family. I mean, like, what do you do? How you make it all work? I read books to kids. Excuse me. That's the response. You do what? I read books to kids and teach them how to tie ties. Excuse me. Yeah, and I only work like half the year. Excuse me. You do what? Yeah, like 2-3 hours a day. Excuse me. You do what?
Hey, if you need me to read the books, man, let me know. I will.
Like I said, it's just no. I think there's just a lot of things, and all of it just there's just effort there to be like, let me go get all these principal email addresses and email like let's take Washington D.C. Or you say you're in D.C. If you take DCPS, Prince George's, Montgomery County, and then even you go into Virginia. You got like at least 1,500 elementary schools. All you're trying to do is get an email address from every principal. You know, get you want to get principal, vice principal, social worker, counselor, because you don't know who your champion is going to be. So you want to try to get all of those. Then you just send emails to people. If you email, think about what I just said. You email 1,500 people, the odds you get 60, that's kind of high.
But the concept of my book, right? I know mine's is social emotional learning, like self-regulation, right? But it's
what's the experience? You got to think about the experience. Like the book is the book. What's the experience? Kids making ties. Teach them how to tie ties. Like what's the kids you want kids to be happy and joyful. They're running around and like
so basically. So I can all right. So here's the thing, right? So I can incorporate like a coloring experience, right? Because the thing is, like inside one of the books is like, hey, count to 10, breathe, you know what I mean? So that they can maybe I'll incorporate like a page where it's Purple Mike and he's like literally counting to 10. And it has the numbers, and the kids can literally just shade in the numbers.
I have a big cutout of Little Dell, so that's the main character. And then there's a Velcro piece, and so I spin the kids around. I blindfold them with the tie, and then you spin them around, and then they gotta go try to put the tie on Little Dell, and then like you give them a little gift card or something. It's all fun things, man. Like it's just what would you want to do with a 5-year-old, right? Like you know what I'm saying, like. These don't think too hard about like they're 5 and 7, 8 years old. Like they want to do fun things. They want to do cool things. So what it would be to make it fun and cool, right? And then they walk away and they're gonna go home. Hey, mommy, let me tell you what I did today. It's not rocket science.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And then you're a black man with the book. You sign the book for the kids, take pictures. Kids never met an author that looked like them. That's like my favorite story was the boys. I've been told on multiple occasions, boys are like, I think I can be an author because I met you. Right? That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Right? I get an email from a teacher, oh, kid, use your book for a book report. Can I send you a picture? Yes, absolutely. This is cool. I'm just a dude. I'm just here, like, and you just want to make a difference, man. Like, and again, it's something that does allow for you to make some money, but like, so many people are impacted by 100 kids got a book, met a black author. They learn how to tie a tie, and I get to keep the tie too. They colored, and made their own tie, put their name on it. It was a good morning. It's a good day. Everybody's happy.
Man, thank you for that one.
You just have it's like, I think there's so many ways to make money, make impact. And also some things are, I'm gonna give you these two. I bet these two people, they're millionaires, right? And so I'm like, sometimes you meet people in certain spaces and you're like, oh, same thing. You're like, oh, what do you do? Like, you was saying certain things or whatever. So you're like, what do you do? Like, so I met this one guy and specifically he had a Lamborghini. So I'm like, oh, what do you do? Because you can't, well, unless you're scamming, you can't just buy a Lamborghini, right?
Right.
You can't even just rent one. You can't just. It's expensive. It costs a lot of money. I'm like, what do you do? And he was like, man, my business is I buy and sell gift cards wholesale. And so his company is who Best Buy and Macy's and XYZ, they buy the gift cards and from him, he sends them, and each gift card is only like 15 cents, but they buy like 5 million units. But each company is buying like 5 million units of gift cards. So he's a millionaire a few times over because all his clients are the biggest companies in the world because they don't make their own gift cards. They buy them from somewhere. They buy them from him. So then I met another guy. This was in Atlanta. And, we're just talking. So I'm like, just listen to him. I'm like, oh, he's got a really good business. I'm like, what do you do? And again, find out he's also a multimillionaire. He was like, I have a company. I'm who department stores buy mannequins from. So all those mannequins, they buy them and they buy new ones every year. So a lot of people are reoccurring clients. It's like, man, like those are, and like, I'm just sharing these things because like there's the frank conversation, right? Like there's these different ways, there's things that you don't even think about. Like they're just right in your face. And you're like, man, you never looked at a gift card and be like, I wonder who the supplier is, but there is one. Right? You never looked at the store and thought about the mannequins and like, who's the person they buy those from? Maybe I should start that business. Right. So I think all these different things, are ways, and even at the Black Man Can, we're thinking about how we're going to like bolster our e-commerce business, right? Because how can we create really great products or merchandise that people will buy, but every time you shop with us, when you buy a hoodie, when you buy the affirmation card, anything you buy from us supports our programming. So like, let's really lean into that more, but let's also make really amazing things that are unique and special to like Black men and boys or to our brand that people can shop with us. And then if we turn that into a really successful side of the business, all of it is what helps fund our programming. So now, we got boys getting scholarships, we got boys in programs, we got boys in juvenile hall getting the support that they need because you like bought a hoodie, so.
Man, you I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. I just really appreciate the fact. That you're giving me this insight. Sincerely speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's a frank conversation. Like I didn't know where we was gonna go, but
the goal. So the goal is, like I said, a philanthropy, garner support from artists put towards a charity nonprofit that you care about, but also legitimately speaking. People learning through your experiences, people learning from any of the knowledge that you have, and in these past, like you don't even know what you did for me just now. Like legitimately, you don't know what you've done for me just now. My mind is now firing on 10,000 different pistons right now because of the fact that I'm over here. I'm engaged in what you're saying currently. I also had in the back of my mind was saying like I'm building out the thing for Purple Mike right now, and also I'm still building out the thing from earlier in regards to having those personalized invites, like and how that's gonna look for that event. If it's going to just be 100 Black men that are all out that are all dope doing dope shit and actually are able to be in that room, who would be the keynote, where you would host it, why you would host it there, and why I would pitch that to you. But it's a lot. It's really a lot. And yeah, like the fact that even with what you just said about the e-commerce. So I'm part of the United Front, right? The United Front it's a network where we have a bunch of different shows, from we're a small collective of people that are each hosting our own show, and I've been doing a frank conversation for years. You know what I mean? And this, I've known a lot of the hosts for years as well. So for us to, we say, okay, we're gonna form up like Voltron and come up, do this together, right? Um, e- I was once told by Mark Cuban, hey, don't worry about merch. But but we have merch, right? And I actually want the merch to move so that part of the funds for the merch can actually go into, hey, all the charities and nonprofits that get mentioned on the show. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, so not only is it that, hey, yeah, I'm interviewing, but when I say, hey, we're gonna make sure that funds get donated towards the things the spots that you mentioned, but it's actually taking place. And because I'm a man of my word, I only got two things in this world. You know what I mean? So and my word is one of them. So I want that to be an actual thing. So I'm trying to strategize that, sincerely speaking, and the fact that you're able to do it, is I'm sitting with someone that's doing it, like that's why that's what the frank conversation is for. Literally for me, I'm literally sitting with someone that's doing it and is actually positively impacting stuff. I want the world to be able to get whatever they can get from the conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My bad. I get long. My bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we'll stay tapped in. I definitely want to, not tonight because I know we're already at an hour and 11 minutes, but
Yeah.
I'll follow back up because we have our big event coming in April, and I would love to see how you and the network might be able to support us. We have the Black Man Can Awards, so so we'd love to see what that could look like. So, and for everybody watching, April 25th, 2026, Black Man Can Awards, New York City. It's going to be the ultimate celebration of Black men and boys. So would love to, see people in there in person, but we also want to live stream it, and we want to get a million people watching it at one time. So
Say less. I will, like I said, however I can support, I'll make that happen. I really will. Um, my brother, thank you so much again for sitting down with me.
you're welcome.
Shoot, you definitely close with words of wisdom. I didn't think that so many of those words would impact me to where now I'm about to be up for the next 7 hours trying to trying to do so much. So I definitely appreciate that. Is there anything else that you want to mention on the platform so that that the world knows?
We're good to go.
We're good to go. All right, brother. Well, thank you again for following through.
Thank you.
He's gonna pull you down, and then if you want to stick by after so we can rap a little bit, I'd appreciate it.
Cool.
All right. Thank you. You guys, that was Dr. Brandon Frame. Definitely check out his personal Instagram. Definitely follow the Black Man Can. Y'all, make sure you go. Okay, I'm so mad that I didn't say this earlier. Go check out the website. On the website, it's still the blackmancan.org. If you on the website, there's a space where you can actually put in a story of a Black man positively impacting. Please, if you know someone that is doing some dope stuff in the community, please put their story there as well. I personally love that aspect, and I can't wait to type some stuff up about some people that I know and love myself. So yeah, you guys. I'm Ezel Moon. I'm so glad you guys tuned in. Make sure you guys like, follow, share, subscribe, not just myself, the United Front Network. Shout out to WSAN. And yeah, man, I'm Ezel Moon, and I'm not doing it unless it's fun and it helps people. Peace.